This is also a comprehension based question. A passage has been given, and based upon that, we need to find out which of the statements can be inferred from that. It is saying that the dawn of the 21st century witnessed the melting glaciers oscillating between giving too much and too little to billions of people who depend on them for fresh water. Which basically means from the start of the 21st century, the glaciers have been melting, and because of that, some people are getting too much water, they are being drowned by that. Some areas are getting submerged, and some are getting too little water. At some places, we have no water left now to billions of people who depend on them for fresh water, so they are highly being affected by that. The UN, United Nations Climate Report estimates that without deep cuts to man-made emissions, at least 30% of the northern hemisphere's surface permafrost could melt by the end of the century, which means the man-made emissions or all the man-made activities which are harmful for the nature, which we have been doing, if there are no deep cuts or the bans kind of the reductions made on them, without that, at least 30% of the permafrost in the northern hemisphere would be melted by the end of this century. Given the situation of imminent global exodus of billions of people displaced by rising seas, nation states need to rethink their carbon footprint for political concerns, if not for environmental ones. So, this sentence means that imminent global exodus, which means this is definitely the climate change is a serious concern and billions of people would be affected by that. And the places where there would be too much water because of the rising seas, the increasing water levels, those people would need to be displaced from there or evacuated from there. And this would put a political concern at least on the nation states, if not the environmental ones, because they are definitely more concerned of the political things rather than the environmental. So they need to reduce their carbon footprint in order to gain this political advantage at least, if not environmental. Because evacuating millions of people would definitely be a political burden on them. So now based upon this passage, let us check which of these options would be holding true. Nation states are responsible for providing fresh water to millions of people. Now, this particular statement may or may not be true. In general sense, it is actually true, but it is not getting inferred from this passage. So we shall not go with this statement, we will discard it. Billions of people are responsible for man-made emissions. Again, this statement is correct to some extent because each and every one of us is responsible for the emissions to some extent. But again, that is not the main thing being highlighted and inferred from this passage. So we shall not go with this option as well. Next one is saying nation states do not have environmental concerns. Now, to some extent, this can be drawn because the last one it is saying that for political concerns, if not environmental ones, the states need to rethink their carbon footprint. So they are saying at least for the political, they give more importance than environmental ones, but it is not said that they do not have any environmental concern. So again, the statement is not totally correct. Let us look at the last one. Billions of people are affected by melting glaciers. The statement is directly being inferred from the passage. Others might be there indirectly. This one has been directly said over here because the billions of people would be displaced by that and they would be getting too much and too little water. So definitely they are getting affected in some sense. Hence this would be the best option to go with in this case. We'll go with option D.